The night Thanksgiving forgot did not end when the sirens faded. It only changed shape. By the time dawn broke over Hollow Creek, the town looked normal again, almost insultingly peaceful. Frost clung to the edges of windows. Pine wreaths stayed hung on front doors. Neatly parked cars lined Maple Ridge Drive, exactly where they had been before the screams, before the flashing red and blue lights sliced through the holiday darkness. Yet everyone who woke up that morning knew something had shifted. The air itself felt heavier, like the town was holding its breath. At 6:12 a.m., local news station WCRN interrupted its regular programming. The anchor's voice trembled just slightly as the words rolled out. A Thanksgiving evening tragedy. An ongoing investigation. Authorities urging calm. No suspects yet. No confirmed motive. Only one confirmed fact. Something had gone terribly wrong at 1489 Hollow Creek Road. Inside that house, the crime scene spoke in silences. Detective Aaron Kincaid arrived at 6:47 a.m., long before the town would pretend to wake up for leftovers and football recaps. He stood at the edge of the taped-off perimeter, staring at a home that looked like it belonged on a postcard. White siding, symmetrical windows, a porch decorated with small string lights still flickering weakly, as if unaware of the chaos they had illuminated hours earlier. Aaron had seen murder scenes in Chicago, Detroit, and the outskirts of Baltimore, but something about this felt different, too quiet, too controlled, too carefully staged. A uniformed officer handed him a thin folder. Victim is Thomas Hale, 46, financial consultant, known in the community. No priors. Wife and daughter returned from a relative's dinner and found him. Aaron flipped through the preliminary notes. Thanksgiving dinner had ended for the Hale family at 9:18 p.m. They left for his sister's home across town. At 10:02 p.m., Thomas Hale's home security system registered brief motion in the kitchen. At 10:09, the system went offline, and at 11:31, his wife dialed 911. No forced entry, no ransacking, no sign of struggle in the living room, which meant whoever came in didn't need to break in. They were either welcomed or already inside. Aaron stepped through the doorway, smelling faint traces of cinnamon, roasted turkey, and the sterile sharpness of crime scene chemicals. On the dining table sat plates half cleared, a glass of red wine, and a folded paper placed with unsettling precision at the center. He reached for it, careful through his gloves. 3 words, written in slow, deliberate ink. Gratitude remembers everything. Aaron frowned. Not a name, not a threat, not a confession, a message meant for someone, or for everyone. He turned to the forensic tech, who shook his head gently. No fingerprints so far. It's clean in a way we don't like. Outside, the first whispers had already begun. By noon, Hollow Creek was a storm of speculation. Facebook groups erupted. TikTok detectives zoomed in on pixelated photos of the crime scene tape. Conspiracy theorists connected Thomas Hale's name to everything from offshore accounts to global market crashes, from cryptocurrency collapses to shadow investment schemes whispered about on Reddit and X, because Thomas Hale wasn't just a local consultant. He had quietly advised emerging tech firms during the volatile economic shifts of 2024 and early 2025. He had spoken at private financial forums in New York weeks before the sudden collapse of a mid-tier investment platform that wiped out the savings of thousands. And just 2 days before Thanksgiving, he had abruptly canceled his scheduled flight to San Francisco for what his assistant called a personal matter. Now that personal matter was dead on his own kitchen floor. Across the Atlantic, as markets opened in London and analysts sipped morning coffee, a single anonymous post surfaced on an obscure financial forum. No username, no profile picture, just a timestamp. Episode 1 was the reminder. Episode 2 begins now. In Washington, D.C., a think tank analyst froze when he saw the message. In Lagos, a cybersecurity researcher archived the post before it vanished 6 minutes later. In Berlin, an independent journalist took a screenshot and saved it under a chilling label, the Gratitude Files. By mid-afternoon, Aaron Kincaid sat in the Hawley living room, staring at the untouched family photos. Thomas and his wife at Niagara Falls, a younger version at a graduation ceremony, a candid shot with his teenage daughter, Grace, who now sat wrapped in a blanket on the couch, eyes dull with shock. "You leave the house at 9?" Aaron asked gently. Grace nodded. "Dad stayed because he wasn't feeling well. He said he'd join us later. Did he mention anyone visiting?" "No." Then a pause. "Did he receive any strange calls, messages, threats?" Her lip trembled. He'd been weird all week, always checking his phone, locking doors twice. He kept saying something about consequences coming back to settle. What kind of consequences? He watched as fear slowly replaced grief. "I don't know," she whispered. He said Thanksgiving was about facing the past. That sentence stayed with Aaron long after he left the house. At 8:03 p.m. that night, almost exactly 24 hours after the timeline of the crime began, every major social media platform experienced a brief blackout. Just under 90 seconds, no alerts, no explanation. When service restored, a single video link had been auto-posted across dozens of accounts tied to Hollow Creek residents. It showed only darkness and a faint silhouette of a table set for Thanksgiving dinner. No faces, no sound, then a distorted voice, steady and calm. Gratitude is not a tradition, it is a debt. And debts come due. The screen cut to black. Within minutes, the video was trending. Within an hour, international commentary panels speculated about organized crime, psychological warfare, domestic terrorism, and financial revenge cycles. Analysts noted its timing against recent global protests, widening economic disparity, and the silent unrest brewing among those displaced by corporate failure. Aaron watched the clip alone in his car, replaying it again and again. Something about the voice felt rehearsed, intentional, patient. This wasn't chaos. This was a sequence. And Thomas Hale was only the beginning. As the town lights dimmed for the second night and the cold crept deeper through the streets, Aaron's phone vibrated with a notification from an encrypted tip line detectives rarely received messages from. One short sentence. "Look at who Thomas thanked before he died." Attached was a screenshot of an unsent email draft found on Hale's cloud backup. Subject line, "Final thanks." Body, "If you are reading this, then I ran out of time. The ones I owe more than words to are still watching, and they do not forgive." Outside, the wind rattled branches against windows like restless fingers. Inside the shadows of Hollow Creek, something ancient, methodical, and terrifying was quietly counting forward, not backward. And Thanksgiving was no longer a holiday. It had become a warning,